Shamans, we understand, cause we detect shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff, boy, so yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Cool.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, it's us. And yes, your glasses are on the top of your head.
Yes.
You were like, wow, guys, these cameras are really out of focus. Can we fix these monitors? Holy crap, the whole studio's out of focus.
I can see. Now the rain has
Yeah, and wasn't that some rain?
Yeah.
Holy
gosh,
crap. We had like 4 inches of rain, I guess, in, 18 hours or something. And that will come back into the conversation later on when we talk about some technology that we got over the weekend.
And everybody
some
left their
exciting stuff
sprinklers
there.
on probably too.
Well, yeah, it was one day. And so, yeah, there was a lot of mud out there. Hopefully nobody was hurt or anything bad happened to your properties. But you notice John is missing today. Our hearts go out to John. John, he's dealing with loss of a family member or a pending loss of a family member, and so he's off dealing with that. And it's something people in his family, knew was coming. So, so that's where John is. So, love and prayers to he and to Lynn at this point. But in the world of technology, Adam, I know you were teching this weekend. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what you did?
Seeing how you didn't want to hear me earlier. So yeah, basically spent the weekend just updating the technology in our store.
Yep.
Rewiring, adding some network cabinets, and trying to clear up the technology and make it a little neater, cleaner, easier to function with.
I just know I saw the after pic and I said, oh my God, I hope you made it look better. And so I can only imagine what it looked like before, which is why he didn't want to talk to me anymore. See, that was what led into it.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, so am I, man. So am I.
Yeah, I still have to operate the store and run it, so I can't shut it down to do everything all at once.
Yeah, that's the thing. No, it was a very, very tech-driven weekend for me. Aside from doing a few fun things, ended up being 2 different kinds of tech. One was a case of a new toy that came in, and we'll be talking about this because this is what is directly related to the rain, and it's very cool. And then the other thing that happened was a catastrophic tech situation, which actually started on Friday and lasted all the way through until I finally gave up Sunday morning at 1:30 a.m. So, yeah, but I'm here, bright, chipper, and the other technology I discovered over the weekend, some of you more astute observers will realize that I discovered the razor. And so that has worked. Yes, I know, that was all new for me.
Was it electric, though?
Yes, actually. No, the razor itself was not electric, but the trimmer I had to use certainly had to be. I was at her garden shears. I wasn't quite sure which one I was going to use.
Back in the day, we didn't have shears,
I know, yeah. We had to scrape rocks on her face. I know. I sharpened the first rock. That was me with the chirked. And then I discovered that if you chip flint, you get sparks. Now, it wasn't me that discovered fire. I was just doing light shows at the time. Okay, when my buddy said, hey, look, I can make fire. And, so he got the patent on that. And that was that. So.
And he takes 1 cent for every fire started.
Yeah, his name is Bill Gates. Yeah, there you go. But we have got a ton of stuff here that we have to dig in, and we are, of course, 33% fewer calories today. So we're going to jump right in with the most important thing you can do. You know how we are such big fans of big tech and spying and all those things, and we want you to have that. So we're going to be a little contrarian here from all the news articles that are out there, and we're going to tell you that it's probably a really, really good idea that you go out there and you load Chrome onto your phone, because that way Chrome apparently has been doing massive amounts of spying It's not spying, okay? They're just monitoring your behavior, your locations. They've tied in. They even know what direction your phone is moving, and they know if you're walking. They know if you're sitting down. They know what you're doing with your phone all the time, and they have been pulling that information back, and they have been selling it on your behalf. Isn't that just so cool of them to do that so that advertisers can better target you, so that they know exactly where you are all the time, and if you happen to be near a protest or something, they have special rooms available for those people now. And so all you had to do was have, Google Chrome on your phone, and bang, there's a whole list available there tracking your every move.
Well,
so
now-
go ahead and download that puppy.
Say you have it there. It knows where you were when you looked up a certain site or Google searched a certain,
Yep.
word or search term.
Yep.
It knows your location, so they're sending that information off.
Yeah. So even if Google's not your default browser, they're still tracking as much as mechanically, electronically possible. Digitally possible.
There you go.
Notice I went through evolution, okay? I started with cavemen and worked my way up to digital. And so, yeah, this is incredible.
Yeah,
and the thing is, if you go in and you've ever had Chrome on your iPhone and you go to check on it, you open up the app, you do a search for the app on your phone, and it comes up and it says, do you want to download this from the cloud? And you're like, no, I don't. The only option is yes. They've programmed it so the only option you have is, yes, I want to download it. And you can't get away from it. So I had to download it and then uninstall it again immediately in order to make sure it was off my phone. And I understand, though, with other devices outside of the Apple universe, it's not even that easy.
No, I mean, Android devices are built basically, Chrome is their backbone. It's their default web browser. So, there's no way around it unless you turn off your, location tracking on your physical device and, don't need to use GPS or anything like that. Then again, what's the function of the device anyways after that?
Yeah, I mean,
Most
once
people
you
use maps and need to check where where something's located. And how to
Sure,
drive there.
but you only want it to track you when you're using it. It's not really a lot of fun to have it, tracking you regardless of when you're using it. It's so just be aware that if you value your privacy at all, and I'm talking all kinds of privacy, because they put up no walls in what they gather, then remove Chrome from your digital device. Use another browser. I know 80% of people who are on the internet now, are using Chrome as their browser. Dump it. If you're on Apple, use Safari. If you're anywhere else, you can use, I like Firefox. Okay, I think it's stronger than dirt. What do you use if you're not on?
Some of my stuff, I switch between Firefox and Chrome. Firefox is better for some of my internal apps that I use. My applications that are running on my own server in my own store.
Yep.
I use Firefox, and then Chrome is what I normally use.
Yeah, it sucks because a lot of people have built things specifically for Chrome. They have specific apps and so on that you have to have Chrome in order to use, and it just bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they're a software company or a hardware company like Apple. If Apple built something that you have to use Safari to use, that kind of makes sense. Okay, you bought Apple, you bought Safari.
Yeah, you bought into the ecosystem.
They aren't. They are putting you. They're forcing you into their ecosystem, and their ecosystem, the product is you.
Right.
And that's such a different. And Apple's not doing anything with your data that we know of. They're like, no, you paid us. We don't need to sell you. You gave us the money. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, and we have $1 trillion in the bank to prove it. So yeah, it's one of those things where the only way to beat these guys is to starve them.
Yes.
And if we keep throwing it's like a dog with bad behaviors. If you keep throwing it a treat every time it tears up the sofa cushions, it's going to continue to tear up your sofa cushions because you're rewarding it at that point. So don't feed the monster. It's that simple.
That cross app tracking
Yeah.
that Apple turned off gave the option for people to say, hey, want other apps to track what this app's doing.
Yeah.
And people now have an option to opt out. Has cost. A lot of different companies are saying, hey, we no longer can sell our products because we just lost $1 billion in revenue and ad revenue. Because we can't figure out what everybody wants or needs and stuff like that. And is it Peloton?
I think so. Yeah.
They, of all
wild.
companies that you would think would require or need, people being tracked on their iPhones, they just used that block by Apple as a way to say they had a decrease in revenue, even though they sell a physical hardware. And with an app attached to it that you have to, I don't understand where
Right.
ad tracking comes into play.
Well,
That would cause such a major decrease in their revenue, and is what they're saying. So they just want to jump on that same bandwagon. Which
yeah, I mean, it's nice. But I'm not going to doubt it, because back in the day, we learned all about demographics, and we learned to target our demographics very carefully. And what happened was it got switched around, and then we started talking about psychographics. And psychographics are really cool, because psychographics allow you to target people by interest. And here's the thing, it's by correlated interests. So let's say you want to sell a car to a doctor. You advertise in a golf magazine.
Right.
Because doctors like to golf. You don't advertise in a medical journal, okay, and you don't just blast it out there hoping a doctor will see it. You go for, real narrow casting in on the psychographics of what doctors like. Mm-hmm. And that was the example we used to use back in the 80s to explain the concept. When Facebook and Google came around, they said, let's do the research and divide the audience for these people.
Right.
And we'll just deliver up people that are interested in buying Escalades. And it's like, okay, I can just choose people that are interested in buying my product. There you go. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to do any research. I don't have to look at my customers and understand them anymore. I can just click a button. I mean, literally, and I haven't been able to find it lately. I'm having a lot of trouble finding it with Facebook. You could go in and say, let's say I'm a manufacturer, okay, of digital technology here in the Bay Area, and I'm looking for people who work at Tech Data. Mm-hmm. I could go in and I could literally target employees of Tech Data.
Yeah, specifically.
Yes. And it's like, wow, look at this. Look what I can do. Now, I'm having trouble getting that stuff done right now. Okay.
That's because you put all your marketing dollars into one platform that you don't own.
That you don't own and you don't control and you don't have access to the data underneath.
Yes.
And that's what I'm getting at. It's not that you can't keep advertising. It's that you outsourced your knowledge. You outsourced your research and data.
Right.
And so you got nothing left to run with. That's what's happened here. People have had to admit they don't understand their actual customers. Mm-hmm. And because, the biggest one is in Facebook. You can go in and you can clone your audience. So I can get 200 people on an email list that are my best customers. I can feed that into Facebook. And I can say, hey, give me 10,000 people just like these people. And they have a 51-point algorithm that they monitor the variables, and they find the common denominators in your 200 people, and then they go out and they find 10,000 more just like them that have those same common denominators, and then they don't tell you what it is.
Mm-hmm. Because that's proprietary.
That's the point, yes. It is 51 points of a proprietary algorithm, but we don't even know what those points are. It's not like, how do you weigh them? We don't even know what the hell they are. Some of them are income. Some of them are, possibly race, gender, sexual preference. I mean, we've got no idea.
Sorry, could you say that again?
No, I can't, Siri. Thank you very much.
Say it again.
So,
that was great.
Okay, so guess what? My technology is listening to me right now, and it now knows that I have conversations about sexual preference on the air. And so...
That's what today's going to be flooded with.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So there's the first story.
There's the first story.
Now, let's move on to the second one. And this one here is some pretty sophisticated stuff that's going on. The stealing of your two-factor authentication password.
You know, the funny thing is they're not technically stealing it. They're using technology to induce.
Well, they're stealing it from you personally.
Well, yeah, but
What they're doing, they aren't stealing it technologically. They're stealing it the old-fashioned way by conning you into giving it to them.
Exactly, and it's I always find it ironic. You get a message and stuff like that. Why do people always respond to that message or to that email? Why don't they just take it upon themselves to say, okay, let's go to the real source and find out for sure?
Yep.
Because that's where you're going to find that information. So
I mean, if you get an email, okay, there's a couple things you can do right off the bat. One, go up and look at who sent it, okay? And if it is not the actual legit, like PayPal.com, okay, then it's fake. Secondly, go up and click on the recipient name. You see your name there, click on it, and you'll see 28 other email addresses.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like, no, this is a phishing scam. So those are two really easy ones. But these things are getting, what they're doing is when you call in, the computer's going to send your code, your 6-digit code, to your phone.
Yeah.
Okay? What they've done is they have found clever ways to trick you into giving them that 6-digit number. Hi, I'm calling from American Express, and I need to check on some of your accounts here. I know you've got an account. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to send you a 6-digit code to your phone to make sure I'm talking to the right person. Correct. So can you go ahead and give me that? Now, what they've actually done is they've gone to the American Express site, and they said, lost my password.
Correct, and they're changing all your information.
Right, and then you're giving them the 6-digit code, and they're typing it in. Now they own it. Yep. They have the whole account.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, however you want to make it complicated, it's only as secure as you are not dumb. Okay, that's really what it boils down to. Anybody, anything fishy, anybody asking for private information, login information, security codes, the answer is not just no, it is hell no.
Right.
Okay? You go straight to that source and you dig in and you find out what the hell is going on, period, end of statement.
Yep.
Nothing else can happen.
Somebody calls you from your bank and, instead of answering any questions, say, thank you, I'm busy doing something else, hang up the phone, then call the bank yourself. Verify, hey, did I just have a phone call? And they'll look in their call logs. They'll know when, you've been contacted by one of their representatives.
Yep.
And they'll let you know, no, we didn't contact
you.
Well, there you go. You just been, somebody was just trying to scam you.
Yeah. Now, you will get, from time to time, you'll get the voicemails on your phone saying, hi, this is your banking, and they name your bank, and they say, a transaction for da-da-da-da-da-da just came through. If this is real, press 1. If you need to speak to service, here's the number to call. Okay, and that's all it'll do. But pressing the number 1 isn't going to give anybody any special codes. It's going to give them the number 1. Mm-hmm. Okay, now what it does tell them is that, you do have an account at that bank. Okay, that's all they get to know out of it.
Right.
And that's really not very useful unless the next thing you do is you go, let me make sure they did the right, what account number? Is it this one? Then you have a problem, okay, because you're putting your bank number in the phone. But don't do that. They have gotten, and it's funny, it's not even more sophisticated. It's not more technologically sophisticated. They just dropped it down and found a new way to skin a cat.
Yeah, that's it.
It's really what's happened.
That's all they've done.
Yep. I am probably going to pass on number 3. Let's go to number 4, okay? The Revil ransomware hackers.
Yeah.
They, it's funny, over in Europe, they infected about 5,000 different computer systems with ransomware. They'd only cleared, I think, about $500,000. They hadn't cleared a lot. These were small-time players. This story looks really good as a headline. Oh, they infected 5,000 people. Well, it doesn't take much to do that if you've got the ransomware software, okay, that was open source and available to anybody. Now, I think Blackground, was that the name of the company that provided this software? They went dark
Right.
in the middle of the summer. So
But
they're
somebody had already
gone.
purchased the software,
Yeah.
the ransomware from them.
From them and was using their system. And so that was...
Just not hiding very well, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And so they got arrested. They didn't have enough firewalls in place. And so this is another great warning shot across the bow. Hey, if you're doing this crap, we're going to come get you.
Right.
And
then they
that's...
have a way of tracking.
Yeah.
They have ways of tracking this information.
Yeah.
They have ways of tracking Bitcoins being transferred. They are really getting more and more sophisticated. There's companies out there that will now track payments, Bitcoin payments,
Yeah.
and wallets, and where the money's, even if the money goes to a fake account for a short period of time, they're watching it. They can watch it just go, 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 go.
Yeah, the problem with, digital currency is the word digital.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like you can put a briefcase full of unmarked bills on the internet and give it to your friend. It just doesn't work that way. Granted, you could probably have it delivered by FedEx and nobody would know, but every now and then you'd have a very happy FedEx driver. I'm retiring, boss. I'm out of here. I got this really cool briefcase too, and so those are. Whenever you go digital with this stuff, you're going to have that stuff happen. These guys went digital. They didn't put enough space between them and the money. Mm-hmm. And bada bing, bada boom, down they went.
Yeah,
that or they were out bragging at a bar, which would be extra super duper stupid.
Yeah, a lot of times these guys, they just they're just people that they're not the ones that made the software. They're not the ones that made the ransomware. So they go out and they say, oh, we do this, and we can try to scam people, and let's go buy the package. They'll buy the package on the dark web, and they'll send it out and see what happens and hope they get money. And they don't know how to cover their tracks and stuff like that. So
no, it's like they're putting it in, and here's my Bank of America bank account that's actually attached to this account. I mean, you got to figure.
It's my PayPal.
These guys may be good. They may be like 100% good. Let's just say they are. But there are a lot of 99% people out there working for the good guys who are like, everybody makes mistakes. Yeah. I mean, it's not just you and I that make mistakes that go, oh, crap, I just messed up everything. Right. The hackers make mistakes. You have to be perfect to get away with a perfect crime. And last I checked, that ain't happening very frequently that you get perfect people. However... it is very easy for imperfect people to make catastrophic mistakes by accident. This is that situation that I brought up in the opener. Over the weekend, there's a lot of people out there that do manage their own websites, and God bless you. I help people do that. I teach them how to do that. And I love doing that. It is just it's a thrill for me to see someone be empowered to be able to do those things, to run that website, to get those things done. But every now and then, the phone call comes in. And this was a case where Friday morning, I got a phone call from an employee at one of my, one of the clients where we built the whole site. And the employee said, I'm not sure if there's a faster way to do this, but it said we were low on memory, and so I couldn't put in any new products. And that's this employee's only job, is putting in products. Okay, that's all it's supposed to do, is adding products to the store. And so I went in, and it just seemed like, all the images that were on the product pages were already on the product pages. So I started going through the media library and just deleting everything. The media library in a WordPress site is the repository of all those images that are then selected to display on the outer pages. If you learn nothing else from Tech Shamans today, remember that, see this piece of paper? This is what your website actually looks like. It is nothing but a sheet of text and code. But this line says, put my logo here, make it 300 pixels wide and 90% transparent. Okay, then underneath it. Okay, underneath that, put my menu bar here, make it look like this, have these elements in it so they click to this. Put this image here, make the background green. It's all digital instructions.
Yeah, just delete it. Taking up space.
So it needs to have a place to go get those things, like special, gradient colors or pictures or logos or slideshow elements or anything else. And this was a double problem because the problem was caused because their backups had been storing through an outsourced backup plugin instead of doing it directly through cPanel. And it turns out the default on this plug, well, we'll come to that later. Meanwhile, we have about, 500,000 images now missing.
That's all?
The website's looking really, really weird because this is a place that sells a lot of stuff. And they had almost 700 active items with an average of 5 to 8 images each.
Oh, boy.
And this person in the phone call said, it was so slow doing them like down the page, I finally figured out how to bulk delete them.
Could you bulk put them back, please?
That was what the call was about. Can you bulk put them back?
Yeah,
and the answer was no, but we can run the thing. See, nobody told me at the beginning that it was because there was a problem with the memory. This person just called and gave me half the story. Yeah. So I go in and I go ahead and I pull the most recent backup. And I just set it to run. And therein lies the rub. Not knowing that they were out of memory and that there was a problem with any of the backups, the backup that was in there was half a backup. It included everything except for the images.
Perfect.
And it was the only backup available.
Everything you already had?
No.
Oh.
We lost 21,000 images. 21,000 images.
That's a lot of images.
That's a lot. The entire website was just a bunch of text, not even a logo. As you can imagine, this is a massive website. This is a massive reseller online. These are all their own products, and they're all one of a kind, so they all have to be photographed again and again if they don't happen to have the photos saved to a hard drive anywhere, which normally they don't because they have it in their media library, so they don't worry about it. They use the cloud. The business owner is calling me all weekend apologizing because I'm up trying to find any way possible to salvage it. I've got their hosting company on the line directly. We are going back through. We did find a backup copy, and we uploaded that. That backup copy was from November of 2020. Yeah, that's, they do 300% turnover in a year, so it was almost worthless. Yes, we got their logos back. Congratulations. Yay. We got some of their slideshow elements back, and that was about it. So the whole thing was just the world's worst cluster bomb. And it leads to the point where, when you give someone the job of working on the website, it is you, the person who has the admin authority, that decides who has what authority and who can do what. Mm-hmm. And giving them delete functions on things could be dangerous if they don't understand. See, now I explained to whoever the business owner wants to put in the room exactly how all this works.
Right.
And if they hire a new employee, probably a good idea to hire me to come back and train them.
Yes.
Okay? Or at least pay for one of our training packages for them so that they get all of this knowledge. Instead, you put somebody in place, all they do is they do the minimum part that you explained to them, and they run with it, and then they try to do something more. And that's the lesson, is with great power comes great responsibility. And it is a tough lesson to learn, and it's horrifying because what we ended up with was a corrupted backup that ended up taking out the rest of the site. Now, there's no way to tell if a backup is corrupted from the front end. It looks just like any other backup. So there was nothing there to indicate there was any problem with it. It just didn't include any images.
404 page not found.
Yeah, pretty much. So, so there's the important lesson of the day, and it's still worth it. This business owner is just like, okay, got to dig in. Can we get a page up right now that says under construction, and we'll start with our most expensive items. We'll get those back up online. We'll go back through the Google Drives. We'll see what we have. Then we're going to start from the most recent and go backwards from there. And we're just going to refill until we get the place looking like we actually have product.
Yeah.
We won't have maybe as many photos on each one, but damn it, we're going to get this thing running again. And it's worth it because they're doing probably between $30,000 and $50,000 a month in revenue off their website. So that's what they're losing going into Black Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, trust me, they know the urgency.
Yeah.
So that is, there's nothing wrong. You have to do this stuff yourself if you expect to get good results. The reason they've gotten that big, when they started, they were doing about $1,500 a month. Then they switched over, we turned it into a driver platform, and they cranked this thing up to probably $30,000 to $50,000 a month using our platform in the right way. And so they never would have had it if they hadn't been empowered to do it the right way. So they know what they have to do, and they know they made a major, major screw up. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I'm getting apologies all weekend from them for taking so much of my time on the weekend. But I can't leave a client just laying out there, wounded in a snowbank somewhere, which is pretty much what was happening. Floundering, yes. So that's the unhappy news. But now we have really happy news. Do we really have to talk about more hackers? Why don't you take this one? Okay. I'm getting worn out on the whole hacker thing. I don't know if you guys are either, but this one at least has an international flavor to it.
Yes. It's like a Chinese group backed by 9 global organizations as part of an ongoing espionage effort has broken into 9 different
9 global organizations. They're Chinese backed.
So basically, you think of it this way: you have a really elite group of hackers, or this case, hackers that are paid for and run by the Chinese government, and other governments can purchase for.
Well, they can do that. I mean,
X amount of dollars. We can, we'll help you. They're going to, say for instance, a country wants to snoop on the United States. China says, well, we have the resources, and we're probably going to check out some of that data too.
Well, it's our data, so we're going to scan it first. But then we're going to sell it to the highest bidder.
Exactly.
I mean, and they didn't. Here's the thing: they weren't hacking to do damage.
No,
they were hacking for credentials.
Credentials and information.
They went after hardcore credentials so that anyone who wanted to could go in and do the damage. Mm-hmm. And they took out, these are, energy companies, these are, global governments. These are, high-level targets that, they went after, and they were working hard to get all the login information on these companies.
Because once you have that, you can set up and log into these systems and just constantly monitor.
Well, I mean, a month ago we were talking about how 80% of hackers don't care about your firewall.
No,
they don't care. It doesn't matter what firewall you have because I'm stealing your password.
Yeah,
your firewall is going to ignore me. So that's what they're doing. They're bypassing every firewall in the world by going after credentials. And credentials are based on the squishy parts. How do you get credentials? You send a convincing text message or make a phone call, and somebody gives you the 6-digit code to their account. That's how they're doing it. They aren't just going after your bank accounts. They're going after nuclear codes.
Or they send you an email and say, I need you to log in right now because, your access to the site is going to be disabled. And boom. You log in. Yeah. And you've just given them, you log into their
I just got one that gave me 5 minutes to log in or else. I'm like, no, if it's that important, back off, Jack.
Yes.
I'm going to make me a call or do some web research myself to find out if this is legit. And it isn't as usual.
Unfortunately, the human factor is the the biggest culprit.
As we call them, they're the squishy parts.
They're the squishy
And the
parts.
squishy parts are always the downfall of any tech security. The squishy parts. Okay?
Yep,
Yeah.
it's End user.
So let's talk about some cool stuff now. This thing is awesome. Okay, so it's not new. It's been 3-4 years. They invented that mono wheel skateboard.
Yes.
Well, now they have their first major upgrade. 2 different models. I'm going to go through the stats of the
75.
smaller I wish. This is basically almost the hoverboard that you loved from Back to the Future. The smaller one is now running 18 miles an hour and will go 20 miles. Okay. The bigger one that you see there, much higher torque, will go 20 to 32 miles per charge and 22 miles an hour. That thing I know it says up to 18. That's the smaller one. Okay, the bigger one actually goes 22 miles an hour. You have an actual transportation. This is a city transportation device that is tiny, that will get you in and out of the whole city. I mean, it'll take you 20 miles, for God's sake, 30 miles on even terrain.
And trust
I
me,
mean,
it
this
will
is
hurt when you fall.
incredible. And so it really, don't fall.
Yeah, don't fall.
But what a difference. You put on a raincoat and go.
Yeah.
And, you carry it in with you. It's got a handle on the side. So you just carry it into work and stick it under your
Did they
desk.
say how much it weighs with the battery and the motor? And
It's 400 pounds. No, it's not that much, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll wheel it in. I'll drive it up the stairs. But that's the thing. I mean, electric motors have gotten so powerful. They have so much torque now.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've seen cars built with this kind of technology where they put one of these motors in each wheel.
Yeah. I believe there's Lordstone Motors.
Yeah.
That's one of them that
Yeah.
they decided to build the electric motors directly into the
Right,
engine wheels.
and they're all like that one there. You basically have a governor on the speed, so you can set it to not go so fast, and it runs off an app on your phone. And and the same thing with that company. It's basically a flatbed that it's got the 4 wheels, and everything is Wi-Fi controlled. So you pick the design for everything above the wheels.
Yeah.
You can do anything, which I think is going to bring us into, let's go to number 10, okay? Here's somebody that did that in a not so eco-friendly fashion. This puppy here is the Torsus. And it comes in 2 models. The one on the left
Torsus.
is $180,000. The one on the right is only $65,000. And this baby is basically customizable from the chassis up. It gives you a flatbed, and you pick the inside design. And so if you want seats, if you want windows, if you want cargo van, you want to make an RV out of it, you want to make a specialized transport for, I don't know, maybe, you've got a mobile TV studio that you do a lot of stuff with. You build this thing, and this thing will off-road like a mofo. It has 290 horse diesel engine with like 6 trillion pounds of torque in the upgrade model. This thing, there you go. I mean, that's a package you can just put in there, and so now you've got your super RV. You can actually go out where no man has gone before, and do some serious backpacking, do some serious camping with this thing, and still have the luxuries that you want to bring with you. I mean, all the comfort that fits.
Looks like IKEA inside.
Yeah. Furniture by IKEA.
Yeah.
And
You know how
so
long it takes to put this truck together?
But you want to talk about some phenomenal, but again, like I said, this is a diesel motor, okay? So that's where the torque comes from. Because as of yet, and if you were to put this in, using the Tesla electric truck motors, you'd be paying upwards of $500,000 for this thing. And their intro model is $65,000. I mean, when I first looked at this thing, I went, oh my God, it's a Lego Hummer. You know, I mean, it's basically got all the oomph of a Hummer, but you can go ahead and do whatever you want on top.
Yeah.
So it's Legos for cars, and I love what we're doing there. We're breaking all the norms, you know, all the social constructs and engineering constructs about what it has to be, and just changing it and saying, no, it's what you want it to be. Here, order now.
Order now.
Yeah, and you know, when I was in school, we had a phrase for this. It was the whole new thing. It was called mass customization.
Ah.
It was the next phase after mass production, and now you're seeing it right here. Mass customization. You order your customized vehicle, not just with like, oh, I colored the paint, you know, or I want a pinstripe. You know, this is literally, no, I'm going to make mine an RV and you're going to make yours a cargo van.
Well, the nice thing about something like that is if once they they see people purchasing different configurations,
Yeah.
they'll know what products sell better than others.
They will make
And
pre-kits and lower the price.
Yeah, why build a whole car just to find out nobody likes it?
Well, exactly.
buying
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a really good point.
You know,
yeah.
now you're customizing it, and everybody like, and eventually they'll might.
Yeah,
not
you may.
offer this,
Yeah,
not
you may
offer
find
that.
your market is something crazy that you never considered.
Your market just built your
Yeah.
you know, your product
Yeah,
for you.
a lot of software packages have had that happen.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they've built it. They're like, oh, great, this is designed for the medical field, and then you find out plumbers are using it. Like, what the hell?
And that's why a lot of software starts off in beta form.
Yeah.
It starts off free.
Yes.
Or at a really reduced price
Right.
because they're still working on it, they're still building it, and then they start getting that, you know, consumer feedback
Yep.
from their you know, users, and then they start building around that and adding features, and then next thing you know, they sell to a bigger corporation, and it's way out of price, and you can't get it no more. So
Yeah, and it only comes with two options.
two options. The ones we like and the ones we don't like.
Yeah. No, the ones we don't like and the ones we like even less.
Yeah,
Okay?
yes, there
Yeah.
you
All right, I want to move on to AMD's next gen RDNA GPUs. Could have the Infinity Cache technology. And this is neat what they've done here, because I read into the article and I think I understand. Adam, why don't you give a brief explanation of what is the game changer about this?
Well, basically, what they've done is these RDNA graphics cards are multiple smaller little GPUs, basically built on top of one another that are allowed to be able to communicate as the hive.
See, this is exactly what I looked at, but I made a comparison.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is there's two comparisons because one leads to the other. The first one is databases. When you work with a database, okay, you think of a database, it's basically like a matrix, and you've got, you know, an Excel spreadsheet is the most rudimentary form of a database. I've got, you know, names of people across here and items they bought down here. That's it, okay? There's my database. Now, when you have a really well-constructed database, and I've seen companies that have built software packages on a database that's a flat database like that,
Yeah.
and every time they wanted to add a feature, they added a second database. Well, the problem is when you're starting to add these second databases, they have trouble communicating.
Right.
Okay? Because you have to wait for that database over there to wake up and load the data and send it back to you. And that takes time. So they put into databases what are called tables. And if you think about it, in your Excel spreadsheet, you see the pages across the bottom?
Yeah.
That's how that works. The pages are all within one spreadsheet. That actually now becomes a database. So I can say, okay, I'm going to go do all these calculations on a second page and have some more information over there that isn't here that I don't want on this page, clouding it up. So I put it on the second page, and there it is. And so then your front page still pulls that data instantly because it's all within the same database.
Right.
That's what they've done with these chips. Whereas before, you know, you had, I have 2 chips. I have 4 chips in my computer. It's so fast.
Right.
Okay, you know, you have a quad core. All right? The point was, there's 4 chips, basically. Whereas with this, we're saying, no. We're going to layer it like a database.
Yep.
And one chip is going to have tables of chips underneath it. So they are all warmed up and running at the same time. And although I don't need that data right now, I don't need it clogging up my system, I don't need to skip past it in order to find this data I need, which is what, a chip has to do. It's like, no. That data is sequestered over there in that sub-chip. And now I'm just running all of this stuff here, but it's all still active. And that's why this stuff runs, and here it is, it runs more like the human mind.
Right.
This kind of thinking, this kind of parallel data activity is what makes the human mind work. That's why you can, listen to somebody speak and they're making a great sales pitch and you're going, something about this, I just don't trust it. There's just something he's saying, and you don't realize, what it is? He's wearing the same tie that the used car salesman that sold you the crappy car is wearing.
AMD is coming.
And you didn't know it. You didn't process that data. It's down here within the tables underneath.
Yeah. AMD's built a good instruction set to allow their chipsets to communicate. But by stacking all of them together this way, and with that instruction set, they can get better performance out of a smaller package.
Yes.
Because of the way they stack them, and even their RAM, they make the video cards now can be smaller and still have better performance than some of their older generation graphics cards.
Yep.
And so what they've increased is the cache needed to basically have storage. Active storage on the chipset itself, so that way, it can say, all right,
keep
store
it all
this
running.
little information here while we go talk to this other chip and make a decision on what we're going to do, and then we'll go bind it together here in this.
Right.
In this.
But don't make me drag it with me.
Right.
Okay. Basically, let me stow it under the plane. Okay. And I've just got my carry-on with me. That's all I need.
Let's store it right next to.
Right under your seat.
Right next to me, so I can get to it faster instead of storing it, in the video card's RAM or into the RAM of the physical.
Of the actual computer,
because
exactly.
then it's going to take longer.
Much longer.
To get to.
Yeah.
Just store it directly on a chip. So they increase the cache size of the chip. So
Yeah.
that way the chips can have better output and better performance.
I'm going to go old school on this one because it's this kind of thinking that really revolutionizes things. I know the person who designed the computer safety system for the Boeing 767. And when he was given the job, he was basically a team of one working for Boeing. And his boss's only job was supervising him. That's really funny, okay? So, his boss gave him the job and then walked away. And he gave him 3 months and he said, look, I need you to design a system, okay, that uses no more than 9 chips to monitor the plane, okay? Try to do it in 7. They wanted 1 chip for each different area of the plane, and that was their thought. And so planning ahead and knowing, Moore's law about technology and how fast things are developing, and by the way, you got 90 days to do this, okay? So he came back in 60 days, flop, the design down on the desk. And he's got this big crap-eating grin on his face. And his manager looks at him and goes, you did it in 7 chips, didn't you? And he goes, no, actually, I did it in 2, and the second one's a spare. It's the backup. What he did was he realized that the plane has all these parts, but none of them can go catastrophically failure in the time it takes to scan the 7 areas round robin. And just keep going and scanning the 7 areas in a circle. Instead of having a chip out there, it was just scanning all the systems. Instead of trying to take all the data input at once, it was doing it sequentially. So 1 chip could scan the whole plane perfectly, and if that 1 chip failed, it had a backup that could then continue to scan the plane perfectly. And you've never heard of a failure in the 767 flight system, in the safety system. It's never happened. It was just such a simple design change. It completely revolutionized the industry, though, with what he did, because they're like, oh my God. We have these things, we had to have extras, we had to have backups for each of them in case, because what if the wing fails? What if the atmospheric, fails? What if all these things fail? It doesn't matter. They're all just simple systems. And they've done the same thing here. They're allowing the software to mimic the human brain and in its layers of knowledge and understanding of the data and prioritize it itself. So that it's keeping the more important stuff up near the top and sequestering the unimportant stuff, but it's not gone. It's not like, wait a minute, hold on, I got to download more, and it dials into AOL, and you know. But no, it's still there. So it's just it's an amazing leapfrog to do this with this kind of chip, and it's a patch between this and quantum computing, because pure quantum, and that's way the hell out there. But these kinds of make do's are pretty damn sophisticated and slick. So that's my take on that story. I kind of like that one because I love it when people get revolutionary like that. And AMD did it.
And don't forget, Christmas is coming.
Yeah, about that. The news.
We're all going to be swimming out to the cargo ships.
No, you don't have to do that. You just have to get to the 250,000 cargo containers that are sitting on the dock. Just know which one you need to break into. I mean, apply for a license to get into.
Yes.
And, then you can get all your electronics in one place. Of course, it's, 5,000 of the same thing, which I want to talk about. But basically the gist of that story, if you expect to get any electronics for anybody for Christmas, buy them now. Don't wait for Black Friday.
If they're offered,
don't wait.
If they're offered and out there, get it now.
Get it
because
now.
When the major shopping starts,
yes,
it's
Black Friday is going to decimate whatever
all.
inventory is left.
Yeah.
Period. Okay. And I mean, in your Black Friday sales, I'm going to tell you, they are not going to be anywhere near as good as you're hoping.
No.
Because first of all, there's a lot of cash floating in the system. John's absolutely right about that. Secondly, supply is very, very, very short. Why discount anything?
True. Yeah, you got a point there.
Yep.
You got a point there.
Yeah. So there you go with that. But I want to bring up this little puppy. Remember I said we were teching this weekend, okay? And I don't think I talked about this yet. No. John and I both ordered these. And what they are is they are wireless lavalier microphones for your smartphone. And I wasn't expecting to get it for months and months and months and months, and it showed up in about 2 or 3 weeks. So I was very tickled with that little turnaround. Okay, so that started well.
He was tickled pink.
Now what it is you pop in here. It has a nice little opening. It's a little hard to see in the lighting here, but I'll do what I can. Okay. What's that?
It has the USB-C charger?
Yes, it came with a cord, okay, which is a really cheap cord, which scared me because the first thing I pulled out.
But it's not micro USB, is it?
No.
I hate those.
No, it's just a regular USB-C cord, okay? The big one, actually.
Yes.
All right? So if you've got one already plugged in the wall, you don't have to worry about it. This little puppy plugs directly into the base of your phone. It even goes in through my case without any difficulty. It's got a stem on it long enough to do that. Once it's in, you get a little flashing red light that says, hey, I'm plugged in, and it's flashing, okay? On the other side, smart is the lightning charger port. So even though it's plugged into your port, you can plug it in and your phone will continue to charge while you're shooting video with it.
What?
Yes, very cool. I saw nothing about that in the advertisements. That was just like major bonus. I'm like, what, do I have to charge this one too? Oh, but this one takes a lightning. Oh my God.
We can daisy chain.
Yes. So that's very cool. So I plug that in, and then it comes with this. Teeny little, tiny, I mean, it's the size of your pinky, okay? This is the lavalier mic it comes with. And all you do, click the button, turn it on, green light comes on, this light goes solid red. Nice. They're now connected. There's no pairing, there's no nothing. They come paired. This speaks only to this. And so they come automatically paired. Got your little lapel clip on the back so you can clip it right on, and it's ready to go. And then all you do is open your regular video camera, and away you go. You are now shooting video and using the audio, okay, of this. And there you go. But it's actually picking up the audio right here. And so I'll be here. I'm going to hand this over to Adam, and Adam's going to do the narration now, okay?
Today on Tech Shamans, we have Anthony holding his phone for no reason whatsoever.
Right. And there we go. So now we've done that. Turn that off. And now you're going to find this was the most heartbreaking part of this task for me, was that I went in, I hit it, and of course it always comes up with the mute button on. There's no sound.
Wait, what?
There's no sound to the video.
Why?
I tried it twice, no sound. I'm like, I'm done. Okay, this has really, really, really upset me that I thought this was so cool, and then it just completely let me down. And then I realized that you have to unplug this.
Shamans, we have Anthony holding his phone for no reason whatsoever.
Right. And there we go. And listen where I am. Okay,
Yeah,
that's the audio. It is
sounds really good.
awesome
Yeah.
audio. And so, yeah, this is from a company called Tech Magnet, and it's called Smart Mic, SmartMic. And I can't really give it enough kudos at this point. I would not trust the one that's available on Amazon. It does not look like the same model. So it sells for a little less. And here's the thing. I mean, you know, Bluetooth mics, all these kinds of things. These things were like $200, $300, $400. Okay, just a year ago. I was looking at this. This is $61. And the range on it is like, I don't know, 15, 20 meters. I took it out in the rain and the wind this weekend and walked down the street with it, and the audio was beautiful.
We know Anthony will be using it this hurricane season.
Yes, to give my on-the-scene reports.
He'll leave his phone in the house.
Yes,
and he'll go
exactly.
outside in the rain.
Yeah. So I really cannot say enough good stuff about this thing. I love it. The only thing I don't know about yet is the battery life. So we got to check that. But the fact that the iPhone comes with a charger, I'm guessing it's probably a pretty decent battery life. I charged this thing Friday morning. And it's still going. And I've used it, you know, for probably only 30 or 40 minutes. But, you know, days later, it's still got a full charge on it, and you heard the audio quality. Unfortunately, we are now out of time, folks. Thus endeth another episode of Tech Shamans. Next week, we'll be back with more exciting news. Send us any of your tech stuff. You can reach us at techshamans@webeamtv.com, and we will be sure to cover your stuff and have a techie week.
Yes, email us.
Bye, everybody.
We got the plans 'cause we are the Tech Shamans. We understand 'cause we are the Tech Shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome. Yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Cool.